Looking for something different to pair with your summer barbecue? Trader Joe's has 3 unique red wine options that you should check out. Welcome to The Wine Fool. I'm Scott. I rate wines based on the drinker, not some arbitrary 100-point scale. This week we're looking at 3 red wines from the Trader Joe's label. They're all a little different and they all pair really well with grilled food. Up first is a wine I tried for the very first time earlier this year, so be sure to check out my episode on Rioja. Rioja is from a region in northern Spain and is one of the most famous regions in that country. The primary grape used in Rioja is Tempranillo. Garnacha, Mazuelo, and Graciano are also permitted and are often used in blends. Rioja wines are known for their aging potential and have a naming system based on how long they've been aged. From the Joven, which are bottled in the first year following harvest, all the way up to the Gran Reserva, which is aged for a minimum of 5 years. Today we're looking at the 2018 Trader Joe's Rioja Reserva, Lot 255. Reserva is the 3rd tier of their aging system. So that means it was aged for a minimum of 1 year in oak and 2 years in the bottle for a total of 3 years. This was $9.99 and is 14% alcohol by volume. So nice rich color, getting that ruby, a little bit of garnet, nice intensity. Can still see my hand through it a little bit. Subtle notes on the nose. Not really like overpowering coming out of the glass. The way I've done this tasting tonight is we're starting with sort of the more lighter bodied wine, if you can consider Rioja to be lighter bodied. Amongst these 3, it is. Yeah, very subtle on the nose. It's kind of nice. It's not overwhelming. Red fruit. Nothing really else to speak of. Cheers. Could use a little more time out of the bottle. I only kind of just poured this, given late June. It was 90 degrees today. I'm in the upstairs portion while these bottles have been down in the basement, remaining relatively cool. It doesn't take long for them to warm up here, so I tried to keep them out of the heat as much as I could. But that also meant not pouring them until about 10 minutes ago. So bright, great tannins, lots of structure, really nice. Am I a Trader Joe's fanboy? Probably. Again, for $10, it's such a great value. A Rioja, a good solid Rioja. Great flavor. I could see this aging well. Where else can you get a $10 bottle that'll age? I bet all 3 of these would age really well. So lasts on the tongue, but not, again, it's more that medium-bodied red. I wouldn't mind if there was a little more fruit in this. Good acidity, but it almost needs that fruit balance to really round it out. Again, a great wine, especially for the price. And like we said, pairs well with a wide variety of foods, especially grilled meats, roasted lamb, chorizo, aged cheddar, aged cheese in general. I'm going to put this at a Wine Fool level 2. This is something adventurous, right? This is somebody who's looking to take that next step beyond sort of just what they know. This is adventurous. It's, a little asterisk there. It's adventurous, but it's at Trader Joe's. You don't have to search too hard. I don't think you have to search too hard for a Rioja in general. Spanish wine is amazing. It's really good. Definitely check out, if you haven't seen my episode on Rioja, definitely worth checking out. We did sort of a range of years, found sort of a sweet spot, and a Rioja that was, while it was good, I felt like it had gone too far. We'd gotten too far into those leather, those aged red wine notes to really be enjoyable. I felt like there was sort of a sweet spot. This is good. I could see this lasting another 3 to 5 years. Again, knowing what I've tried in the past, I wouldn't push it too far. This is already pushing 6 years. So another 3 to 5. And, the trick is that loss of fruit that you're kind of hoping to balance out, the tannins will mellow, that fruit will lower as well, and hopefully some of those tertiary flavors will start coming through. So again, an interesting wine, a great value, $10. If you have ever thought about aging wine, these are great wines that could age in a price range that isn't going to break the bank. A lot of times when you talk about aging wines, you talk about buying that really special bottle and stashing it away. These could benefit from years. Obviously, we haven't gotten to the others, but these are all varietals that are very much age-worthy. So yeah, check it out. Next is a name that jumped out at me on the shelf, and it's kind of fun to say. Moulis-en-Médoc is really a region within a region. Médoc is a very well-known region within France, and Moulis-en-Médoc is one of the 6 appellations that make up the Médoc region. The wines of Moulis-en-Médoc are primarily blends dominated by Cabernet Sauvignon or Merlot, with smaller proportions of Cabernet Franc, Petit Verdot, and sometimes Malbec. This is the 2022 Trader Joe's Grand Reserve Moulis-en-Médoc, Lot 131. Like all of Trader Joe's Grand Reserve label wines, this was $12.99. Like the Rioja, this is also 14% alcohol by volume. A little more purple leading into that ruby as opposed to the Rioja, which is a ruby leading into garnet. This is a little bit more on that purple end of things. Some good fruit notes. Red fruits. Getting like red fruit, cherries, black currant. Cheers. A little bit fuller bodied, high acidity. Quite tart, quite mouth-watering. This is not your beginner red, that's for sure. Tasty, a good balance of tannins and acidity and fruit, which is nice. A little bit more balanced, I think, than the Rioja was. Could, again, probably use a little bit more time in the glass, out of the bottle, aerated a little bit more. Could probably use a half hour to an hour. And that's a lot of reds. I think, probably Pinot Noir, maybe a little bit less time, maybe a half hour would be fine for that. And that's just to, again, the point of that is to give the wine a little bit of oxygen. It's been pent up in that bottle. Get those tannins a little bit looser, give it a chance to breathe. This is nice. A little bit more complicated than the Rioja. A little bit more subtle differences. Complexity. Again, that higher acidity, fuller bodied, a little bit more going on in it. Still wine full level 2, still that adventurous. Again, if you've experimented with cabs and merlots, this is kind of a next step. Again, as we said, all of these pair really well with grilled meats. This is going to fit right in with those Bordeaux pairings. If you've had Bordeaux in the past and you've paired food with it, you're going to have very similar pairings. Grilled meats, lamb, roast birds, poultry, game birds, aged cheeses again, the structured tannins and the complexity of this, it makes it suitable. Again, this is something I'd be curious to see what would happen to this in 5, maybe, I don't know if I'd push this to 10 years, maybe 7 or 8 years. Again, understanding this is a little bit more complex than the Rioja. It's got a lot of room to maneuver. There's things that can come down. There's fruit, so you could, reduce the amount of fruit on the palate, and you wouldn't lose too much. As opposed to this one, which didn't have a lot of fruit, and I feel like if you lost it, you'd be looking at a very different wine. This one could age fairly well, I think, in that 5 to 10 year range. Finally, the bottle that kind of triggered this week's episode. I'd never heard of a Rasteau. So I grabbed the bottle. A little bit of research and I discovered that it's a region in the Rhone Valley and it produces its own GSM. GSM stands for Grenache, Syrah, and Mourvedre, which are typically used as a blend in the Rhone Valley region. Very typical of wines such as Côte de Rhône and Châteauneuf-du-Pape. This is the 2022 Trader Joe's Reserve Rasteau Lot 254. This was $9.99 and comes in at 14.5% alcohol by volume. So a hint of purple, but more into that ruby color. Ooh, okay. So very different, which shouldn't be surprising. GSM is a very different blend of grapes than either a Cab or Merlot. I'm leaning towards Merlot on this, I'm not sure. And Tempranillo. Grenache, very much brighter fruit notes. It's actually got, the first thing that's coming to mind is that it's sweet, which I know it isn't. But it's got a sweet cherry smell to it. Cheers. Wow. That's good. Smooth tannins. Low acidity. That high alcohol is adding to a bit of body, right? Silky tannins. Acidity is on the lower side, like moderate acidity. Really pleasant, really interesting, but it's a really tasty, really interesting blend that wasn't quite expecting. And I think it's because the tannins are so mild on it. And I think that's just from where I came from, the Rioja and the Moulis-en-Medoc, which I've had a really hard time. You haven't seen it, but maybe I'll do a clip of how many times I mispronounced that. The Moulis-en-Medoc Moulis-en-Medoc. The wines of Moulis-en-Medoc. But yeah, a nice, smooth, easy drinker. I would almost put this in the category of a introductory red. Smooth, no particular characteristic really jumps out. You don't have like those really chewy tannins that, make your mouth dry. They're there, but they're nice. They're nice. Another one that's going to pair well, like we said, grilled meats, game, stews, aged cheese. That's why I kind of got to the end of this and said, these all say the same thing. This is really a barbecue episode. These would all go really well with barbecued meats. That's really just what it comes down to. They're good, solid reds. They're gonna, you want to drink a wine that's going to match the intensity of the food you're eating. Grilled meat, lots going on, right? There's not only the flavor of the meat, you've got the smoke, you've got your seasonings, you've got all these different things going on. You want a wine that's going to sort of match up and go head to head with all those flavors. It's not going to overwhelm them, but you're actually going to they're going to enhance one another. So that's kind of cool. Wine really is an entirely different experience when you combine it with food. So if you're grilling this summer and you want to try a great pairing, give one of these Trader Joe's finds a shot. I don't think you'll be disappointed. Until next time, stay foolish and cheers to drinking better wine.